Hi.
Trucks. I'm Isaac, that's Josh.
You're right.
And we are currently taking about 17 tons of dynamite
And I've already made a wrong turn.
from point A to point B.
Can we see any sign of dynamite? No, in fact.
No, in fact, there should be some warning stickers on that if I'm not entirely mistaken.
It's a very inviting looking trailer.
Yeah, no, it looks comfortable and fun and not at all full of death.
Yeah. Do not put a lighter under this truck.
So, welcome to Reader Mail Trucks.
Yes.
Last
time we asked you for questions.
Yep,
One
two-
of you sent us a question. Two?
Two people sent me a question.
Awesome.
But I also get a trickle of questions into my blog just sort of as a matter of course.
Yep.
And so we're going to answer those. So because if we only answered the two questions, this would be a relatively short trucks.
Yep.
So without further ado,
Yes, and Isaac hasn't briefed me on almost any of these questions.
do you feel mentally prepared to answer questions from the public?
Yeah, absolutely.
Uh-huh.
What's first?
Well, I mean, I think that maybe actually before we start, we should talk a little bit about how we can get more questions from the public. Because
How can we?
Well,
How can we trick the public in talking to us?
I feel that podcasts where they get a lot of public interaction, the presenters of the podcast have personality traits, which are obvious to the listeners.
Uh-huh.
So you can be like, hey, you like Bruce Springsteen? I'll ask you a question about Bruce Springsteen because that'll be a funny joke that'll continue sort of the joke milieu of the entertainment that we're both experiencing here.
It's funny to like Bruce Springsteen.
I mean, it's not funny inherently to like Bruce Springsteen, but it's funny to comment on somebody else's liking of Bruce Springsteen.
Okay.
You can make anything into a joke by acknowledging it in enough ways and by making it a public enough thing.
I see what
feel.
you mean. So you're saying
So we need endearing traits.
we don't have any of those.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked a lot about what we like, but we do it in such a dyspeptic, antiseptic way that I don't think that people are really in there for the lovable,
No, we're not lovable.
No, I guess that's the problem. Oh well. So
That's it? We're just gonna... I thought we were gonna strategize.
how to be
I thought we were gonna make up lovable traits for ourselves. Try to pretend to be human beings.
Did you guys know that I like birds a lot?
That's
You'd ask me a
true,
question about
actually.
birds. There's enormous amounts of evidence on the internet that I like birds a lot.
Yeah, we don't link to your birds Tumblr on here anymore.
Yeah,
but-
no. Even though it has way more followers than the other one,
Hmm.
because turns out just posting pictures of birds is one road to internet success.
What do I have going for me besides that I like artsy-fartsy indie games?
You like Malta Goya?
Yeah,
I've always found that to be entertaining.
that's true. I wonder
Josh likes a malted soft drink.
how many... In what percentage of this country is malt Goya even available?
I'm sure lots. Goya is omnipresent.
I never saw it in California. This is a tasty drink.
Yeah, you drink a Malta, and Josh will salute you. Or Guinness. frankly.
And I listen to music that makes people think it's like a malfunctioning robot.
Josh likes music that other people will cite as examples of music that nobody could possibly like for real reasons. And he wants really good stereo mixing when he listens to it.
Yeah,
He really wants that audio image inside his mind to reflect the absolute veracity of what Autechre was putting down.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's not easy to make jokes about.
yeah, I'm sure that if I Google audiophile jokes right now, I'm sure there'll be a list.
Hot typing things into Google Action here on Trucks.
Your job is to keep people entertained while I do this.
It's truly not possible.
Audiophile jokes and ribbings
Oh,
at the Steve
good.
Hoffman music forums.
Let's go.
You may be an audiophile
Let's hear it.
if you introduce your wife as my wife acceptance factor.
I don't even get it.
If your Christmas wish list costs more than the gross national product of a small country, fine.
That could apply to a lot of people.
Yeah, these are mostly terrible.
Is there even one good one? Your idea of a good read is the Audio Advisor catalog.
Yeah, this is too inside.
These are
baseball.
barely jokes.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear a fucking question.
Okay. Excuse me. Why did the amplifier hum? Answer: it didn't know the words. That's an audiophile joke.
Yeah, that one's okay.
Okay. All right. Question one. This is from Tumblr user Webinar Fantastic. What are your skull mask headcanons?
My what?
Your skull mask headcanons. This is skull mask.
It's
Josh is going to be putting this up on the screen right now.
Yes, I am. It's a goddamn Crow Killers question.
This is the only page that this character appears on. You can get everything you need about this character from this page. She likes aliens and breakfast. I'm assuming it's a she. I have tons of characteristics. My name is Skullmask, though. So, what are your Skullmask headcanons?
Does she only have one eye? Is that unknown?
I mean, that could be the mask,
Yeah.
or it could be what's going on below the mask. Come on, dude. Come up with a headcanon.
Are there going to be a lot of Crow Killers questions? Isaac runs a Crow Killers blog, and we're reading the questions that have been sent into Isaac's blog.
This is the only Crow Killers question.
I've never read Crow Killers.
I swear to God.
I don't know anything about. I don't know anything about this character. I like aliens and breakfast. I have tons of characteristics.
What are her
It's like us.
Yeah, exactly. This character is fundamentally unlovable. Nobody is going to be sending questions.
My
into this
headcanon is that
character's
her
blog.
favorite breakfast is also my favorite breakfast.
What's your
'Cause
favorite
that's-
breakfast,
'cause
Josh?
That's also your favorite
And
breakfast.
that's hella relatable. Oh my God. Okay, so here are our Skullmask headcanons. Skullmask likes corned beef hash, 2 eggs over easy, and home fries.
Yes.
A little salt and pepper, some hot sauce. To be consumed ideally at a neighborhood diner
Yeah.
at 8 in the morning.
That's really a wonderful way to go.
My Skullmask headcanon is that she is a Lapis Peridot shipper,
Huh. Yeah, that makes sense.
and also that she's Bloodmaster Alpha in a mask. Anyway,
Yeah, she would like Lapis and Peridot because she's, obviously by the fact that she's wearing a vest or whatever that is with UFO written on it over and over again, she must have a penchant for the particularly alien characters.
yeah, it says right here, I like aliens.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're right. She said that out loud. There's even more evidence for my headcanon than
Exactly.
I thought.
I think that this person
Isn't it great when you come up with a headcanon and then it confirms itself in the text? Like you find additional evidence.
Exactly. It's a self-confirming thought pattern or meme. Okay, I'm sorry, Josh. Enough of that.
Okay, let's have a real question.
Okay, our second question comes from Tumblr user Webinar Fantastic. What are your top 10 characteristics of Skullmask?
Are we gonna do a whole Trex like this? Is this Trex gonna be one long joke at my expense?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Top 10 characteristics of Skullmask. Go.
Okay, she
All right.
likes aliens and breakfast.
Okay, that's number 1.
I would say that her other top 8 characteristics are all those other characteristics that she possesses, such as
Such as?
her 3 teeth,
Okay.
her 1 eye, her heart-shaped nose,
Uh-huh.
her sideways capital I mouth.
Oh, yeah. I would say that is the mouth of somebody who's not particularly engaged. I think that she might be depressed.
How many times?
I think she's depressed. I think she's depressed.
You think she's depressed?
Yeah, I look into this cipher and I see myself. Look, she doesn't take care of her pants very well. Mm-hmm. I think.
Well,
that
I mean, but those are like boutique torn pants. Those are
are
fashion.
they? Are you sure about that? I don't think that she's.
No, there was like some dirt on her shin there.
Yeah, I think that she's. I mean, I think that they are. It's intentional rather than a result of poverty, but I think that it's because she's into grunge. I think she's from the Northwest.
Oh, you know what? I have another skull mask headcanon.
Okay, is it a characteristic? Because that's the question.
It is
that we're
both.
answering
Yes,
now.
it's
Okay.
both. It's that, but it's a headcanon because I don't have confirmation of it.
Yeah.
It's that she is under 16 years old.
Oh my goodness, this is a young child who is into music that was made before she was born.
Does it say that? Is that one of her characteristics?
I just said it,
Okay.
and it is one of her characteristics.
Okay.
Now that I just said it, this
Oh, and she
character
also
is-
has five full fingers on each hand. No thumbs, though.
those are
Those
are
four.
four.
I counted
4 fingers, and
I'm-
I think she has thumbs, but that they're hidden within her.
That would make sense.
Do you think she's an elf?
She does have strange ears, doesn't she?
Yeah, her ears are more space elfy than most people would suggest. But
Thank you for watching Let's Play This Picture
Okay.
of Skull Mask, which has no doubt appeared on your screen at least 3 times and probably been up for about half of our runtime so far.
I think she's.
Have
one-
we listed 10 characters?
I think she doesn't have very many friends. I think she's one of those difficult kids who can't really find traction in terms of common interests with her peers because she's into stuff that is out of sync with the norm in her social group.
You know, it looks to me like she has dimples. That's what the eye on her mouth. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think she's a little chubby.
No, she doesn't look chubby.
Just dimples? Skinny dimples.
Yeah.
I think Skullmask's real name is Skinny Dimples.
Skinny dimples.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the next question? Don't.
Anonymous asks.
If it's about Skull Mask, I don't want to hear it.
Anonymous asks, what if I drink the bathwater?
I mean, that depends. It depends on how clean your bath is. It depends on whether anyone is bathed in the bathwater. Okay, well, this becomes ontological, right? Because, like, is it bathwater if nobody's bathed in it?
I think that it's bathwater if it's in a bath.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So you could be drinking crystal clean bathwater, but who
I mean,
has a clean bathtub? I mean, we certainly don't have a clean bathtub,
if,
despite
like,
our best efforts.
If you have a reason to suspect that a disaster is going to knock the water out in your city, then cleaning up the bath and filling it with water is
that's a noted survival trait. We've done this before. So perhaps nothing, or perhaps you'll live longer than you would if you didn't drink the bathwater. This question comes in response to a post where somebody sent me a message saying that they had just finished reading my entire blog over the course of a week.
Holy mackerel.
And that it was like bathing in a warm bath of gentle intellectualism. Do you have any comments on that?
Okay, so the bathwater is composed of mostly water, also
And-
some gentle intellectualism, and
Isaac.
and this person's
an
body
inf-
fluids
a
because
deep-
they're the one who was bathing in it.
Oh, you're right. So, boy, I
It's a
am
complicated cocktail.
I am the fluid, but they're the tea bag. Basically, so if you drink the water, you're taking in both me and whoever this anonymous fool is. Who
I'm not sure they're
enjoying my
taking
work so
you
much.
in so much as your content.
What am I if not my content? This is the internet. We were just saying our content is too dilute. They can't grasp our content. And that's a reflection of me because I am the content. I'm selling me. I'm not putting on an act here. This is my personality, and their desire to engage with it or not engage with it is a 100% reflection of my authentic work.
If you drink the bathwater, you might end up a little bit more like Isaac. So, at your
keep
own risk.
that in mind. Tumblr user Space Cadet Anomaly asks, Space Cadet Amoli.
Is that all the questions right there?
Space Cadet Amoli.
We're on like the fourth one. That's half of the questions almost. That is half of the questions.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, we've got, 18 minutes left?
No. All right, let's hear it.
Do you like hamburgers or hot dogs more?
Hamburgers.
Which is your favorite?
Hamburgers.
Hamburgers. Yeah, I'm going to say hamburgers also.
What's your favorite kind of hamburger?
Oh, geez. This is just... You know what? I like a hamburger that's made by a human being on a barbecue.
Yeah.
Like, not a restaurant human being, but a human being that you know who's not maybe a particularly skilled cook, but is taking her life in their hands because, raw meat.
Barbecues are great and a rare and precious luxury
We
in
don't-
this city of ours.
Yeah, I used to have the kind of friends who would go to a barbecue, but not anymore. We're kind of alone here, for the most part. Thanks, Tumblr user Space Cadet Molly.
You didn't know, but your question
Jeez.
reminded us of our despair.
God, hamburgers.
Hamburgers and hot dogs. They have hot dogs over at the Burger King across the street.
They
that I'm
do.
looking at
No
right now.
less a luminary than Chance the Rapper, who is from Chicago, the hot dog capital of the world, said that he really liked Burger King hot dogs.
I've yet to try them.
So have I. They look disconcertingly plump and livid in the pictures that they take of them that are supposed to make them look appealing.
I'd better try one before they're gone, right? If Chance the Rapper likes them.
I already asked this question, or answered this question on my blog, but what's your favorite Season 1 Adventure Time episode?
Yeah, Isaac warned me about that question because I don't remember Adventure Time Season 1. And
Did you have time to
I
do
reviewed it
anything
a
about
little bit. I honestly, it's been a long time. Like, Season 1 isn't the season I go back to, right?
No, we go back to like Season 3 at the best.
Right. And, there's definitely some good stuff back there. I guess the one that struck me the most when I looked back over those was the one where ice cream? I just called Princess Bubblegum ice cream. The one where Princess Bubblegum...
You've lost your mind.
Yes. It's because it involves the Ice King. That's what's going on.
Okay.
The one where Princess Bubblegum locks the Ice King up or something. Like, she has an energy source that's powered by his wailing.
Oh,
And-
I've forgotten about that one completely.
Yeah. And
Are you
it's
sure?
got
Are you sure you didn't dream this?
No, because I just looked it up.
Okay.
I mean, it's not the complete autocrat Game of Thrones Princess Bubblegum that we love from the earlier seasons, which was introduced a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of an early sign of that, and I like that.
Cool. My favorite is, I think I said before, is the one where Michael Dorn plays a body part that has been
That's a good one.
sheared off by magic men. And the best thing about that episode is is Magic Man himself. And that's like Pendleton Ward's original idea, basically. It was that there would be no morals in Adventure Time, which has since gone by the wayside completely. But the sheer commitment to things happen. Oh, okay.
And I also like the one where Finn is afraid of the ocean.
Oh yeah, and the fear enters him through his navel.
It was less.
It's disconcerting, to say the least.
It was less common in season 1 for the conflict to arise from the characters, and for the world of the show to kind of mirror that conflict. Mm-hmm. And that's like kind of the thing the show. That's its bread and butter nowadays, right? And it's, I guess the answer in both of these cases is I like the season 1 Adventure Time episodes where it prefigures what was to come. But of course, these are all very funny. These are all of the season 1 episodes are very funny, but it's hard to pick a favorite in that regard.
The best season 1 episode is Dungeon.
Yeah, what happens in that one?
There's the cat that has approximate knowledge of all things.
That's funny.
And then I believe that is when Princess Bubblegum introduces the Morrow.
What's the one?
The laser swan that she goes in and saves them on at the end.
Yeah. What's the one? Is it a season 1 episode where I'm gonna paraphrase this and butcher it, but they go into some kind of dungeon, and there's this guy with like a ball or something, and he really wants to play some game like with a stupid name like catch ball or throw ball or toss ball
with the buttocks.
Yeah.
That's the Enchiridion. That is the first season.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite games. Like he's like, you've never played catch? Do you remember the name of
Drop Ball?
Drop Ball?
Yeah.
It's the game of the generation or something. It's the hottest new game. Like,
yeah, it's like dealing frankly with embarrassment.
Yes,
it's an important subject matter for a kids' cartoon show, I think. All right, so we're now going to get on to questions that are less terrible.
Okay, is this one about... I've already forgotten her name. Here's a picture.
Skullmask.
Yes.
I should say that the questions about Skullmask, fantastic. Those aren't terrible. Really, none of these are terrible. As a matter of fact,
okay.
I apologize, Space Cadet Amelie. I don't know why you asked me about my meat preferences, but bless you for doing that. Tumblr user Subspace Sahara asks, what are your favorite pretentious, obscure, and/or art house indie games of all time?
Oh, I could spend the rest of the episode answering this one, and it would mostly be stuff I've already said on Trex.
So let's focus on the pretentious part of that. What is a game that you like that is pretentious?
Fuck. What? Okay, do you have an example?
No.
How about I Divine Cybermancy?
I Divine Cybermancy is somewhat pretentious because it's Russian.
Yeah.
And the Russians have no shame.
Yeah. I Divine Cybermancy is a game which is a buggy mess, but it also happens to be the best Deus Ex game. And it has like a kind of lazily applied Dante's Inferno motif, which after you play through this giant, beautiful mess of a game 3 times, you unlock the secret ending, in which it reveals that you are the bad guy in a coma, dreaming from the perspective of the hero who murdered him. And that's the best, but it's also no doubt pretty pretentious.
Cool. I am going to focus on the obscure part,
okay,
and I'm going to say a game called Taskmaker.
I never heard of that.
It was for the Apple Classic OS by a video game company that went out of business in 1997.
Whoa.
Which was, I think, 2 guys. It was a turn-based RPG where you wandered around. Most of your time was spent making sure you had a source of food so you wouldn't starve to death. There was a very, very, very large world to explore, full of lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of enemies and things to do. It was all very opaque as to what the general purpose of the thing was, but you were given tasks by the taskmaker. And eventually you had to overcome the taskmaker and become the taskmaker yourself.
Perfect.
It was riddled with references to these dudes' friends.
I love that shit in the old games.
Yeah, like most of the NPCs in the game were just people these guys knew.
It's like in Bubble Bobble, where in like some of the later levels are just like, here's my signature.
Yeah, exactly. Except, it wasn't even the guys who made the game. It was like their friends, and And so playing the game felt like dipping into a completely separate, social milieu that you didn't really have any idea what was going on in.
Yeah.
You just you knew that these people like to drink, or that maybe there was a reason that they associated this particular kind of broadsword with this guy that they knew. It's like, Gary's Club. You could find Gary's Club and wield it, and it was all right, And a lot of the enemies seemed to be in jokes, but it was difficult to tell, and you could really screw yourself over in serious, unfixable ways and all of that good stuff. And when the game had very little audio except for the sort of tip 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 as you walked around.
Right.
And when you opened the game, it went Taskmaker. Taskmaker.
I've always had a thing for that kind of compressed audio you hear in old games, and I've wished for a perfect way to emulate it.
So this was a shareware game.
Yeah.
I bought the full version when I was a young lad, and it was sent to me on two 3¼ inch floppies. 3¼ inch? How many inches were they? The little ones, and I played the heck out of it, and it was a good time.
Man, I ordered a floppy disk game once. A game called Inner Space. It was kind of like
It has a familiar ring to it.
It had a kind of Escape Velocity-esque spaceship combat system to it. But it was... I can't remember how it was structured, but I remember there were a bunch of different ships that felt different and fun to fly, and it was called Inner Space because the space you were exploring was the space inside of your computer.
Oh, cool. Rather than in something like...
Yeah, it was populated by your files.
There was an NES game where the space you were flying in was inside a giant creature, which was pretty good. I don't remember what that one was called.
I want to share an exquisite detail from I Divine Cybermancy.
Please do.
The game had a morality system of sorts. In every playthrough, there are several moral choices you can make, and also it's one of those games where you can just kind of go off the deep end and become a dick and kill NPCs for no reason, and it keeps track of your karma. Now the thing is, if your karma is at 100 and you do a good thing, it loops back over to 0.
It's like the Gandhi effect.
Yes, and if your karma is at 0 and you do a bad thing, it loops back over to 100. And there are genuine gameplay benefits to being at 100. I can't remember exactly what they are, drop rates or something.
Sure.
So the mechanically enforced the best way to conduct yourself in this nightmare dream world was to do a perfect half and half of evil things and good things.
So you just kept lapping over the border like that.
Yeah.
Lovely. That's delicious. That is a wonderful example of storytelling and mechanics helping each other out in the most broken way in that. I'm going to do some quick shout-outs to indie games that I don't know if I've actually mentioned on Trucks before. I like Redder by Anna Anthropy a lot. It's like nobody's favorite game by her, but I really like it. I like Corrupt.
Yeah, I was going to shout out Corrupt.
I think that we've talked about Corrupt here before mainly, but these are games that you can just play.
It's one of the top 3 puzzle games, and it's free, so go play it.
Yeah, as is Redder. That's a browser game.
Corrupt is... here's how to spell it. There it is.
Corrypt.
Yeah.
The great thing about Taskmaker is that you can't play it unless you have like a Performa 290 lying around. It's the amount of falderall you would have to go through to be able to play that game right now is just prohibitive, and so it is in that vanishingly small contemporary category of things that are, for all intents and purposes, actually lost. And it's still under copyright. It's not freeware.
Gosh.
Yeah.
That's a tragedy. It's a sad thing.
Or, it's nice to know that some things can be
Ephemeral,
in a real way, particularly when pretty much everything from our childhood is available to be excavated, rebooted in the mind.
And I feel like that's kind of endemic in the world of video games, Emulation is imperfect. Console games go by the wayside.
It's true, but I can play most everything that I remember playing from when I was a young lad.
Yeah.
Did you forget about Signs again, Josh?
It always happens. I remember specifically what we were talking about last time we were here.
Lovely. But anyway, I want to shout out that. I want to shout out Analog: A Hate Story, which I've talked about here before. Cool text adventure shenanigans. I also would like to say, and here's for your indie obscure art house prick part of the deal.
Yep.
Cave Story is great, but only the original. none of the rehashed versions that you have to pay money for are nearly as good as the original because they don't have the aesthetic and the original does.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Taylor Hidalgo.
Yes.
Thank you for leaving us a question in the comments of the video, Taylor.
Yeah, the only person who did that.
I really genuinely appreciate it.
Taylor is one of my haywire buddies.
Are there talents of individuals in your lives otherwise, i.e. not me or Josh, I think, that you're somewhat envious of, or even really envious of, and at which you wish you were more skilled? Are there any talents of each other that you wish you were more capable of?
Are there talents we wish we had?
Yes, I think that's what that was. Well, are we talking about talents that we might have had, talents that are actually achievable, or, I've always been partial to flight.
Yeah, this is open-ended, man.
Yeah.
But let's. I think real ones. Talents of each other is an interesting angle.
Yeah. I think that has more of a possibility to breed interpersonal drama, which is, I think, what a new and burgeoning faction of our listenership might be into.
Here's one, which is
things that are unintentionally revelatory about us and our relationship. You might enjoy.
This one is simple enough, though, and it's quite relevant to what we're doing right now, which is that you are better at coming up with fly-ass phrases on the fly. See, I already fucked up. I fucked up right there.
I have a talent for improv.
Yeah.
And a way with turning a phrase. Acknowledging that will mean that you will not get any more of those for the remainder of the evening, but inevitably. But that is true. Although you hem and haw less when you speak.
That's not well.
We have proof. We have so much proof.
I can't say I've done a survey.
We've put so many minutes down.
Well, I have a different tick, which is that I insert sentences into the middle of my sentences.
Yeah, well, those are at least sentences at the end of them.
Yeah.
So Josh admires my talent for coming up with shit on the fly. I admire his talent for going deep.
Going deep, huh?
Yeah. I lean too much on my talent for extemporaneousness, I think, which means that I have a hard time sometimes actually buckling down and making stuff that is good. Even the stuff that I write that is good is usually mostly a result of spur-of-the-moment inspirations, and the people who talk about writing are all about, well, you got to sit down, do it, churn it out every day so that you get a baseline level of craft, and I just have never had the patience for it, which is, I think, my undoing creatively.
Damn, but we're not trying to get down on ourselves here. We're just trying
to say what I mean. This can have like a couple, like one thing that I really admire about Josh, genuinely, even though you were saying abilities rather than personality traits, but Josh has an ability to not get his shit in knots, to be chill, and to be a broker of peace in times of conflict, which I quite admire.
Well,
it's not a skill that I have.
I've always thought so.
At all. I've been admiring professional wrestlers lately.
Oh man,
I wish I had their bodies.
Yeah, I wish
I could do things. I mean,
I think you will relate. I wish I had any. Well, no, you have more than me. I wish I had any physical acuity at all.
Yeah, no, I actually have. I think some. But
you have stage presence.
Thank you very much. But yeah, that's the thing. It's like, the thing is that I am physically adept enough to have a sense of what grace is like, And it's so maddeningly far from me under most circumstances.
Yeah.
If I were to be born again, I would be born as somebody who is less smart than I am, but is more agile. Basically.
Maybe this is why I enjoy video games, and particular kinds of video games. I like playing as Tracer, right? Like, yeah. I like finding ways to express myself balletically, which is something I truly cannot do in person.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think that the thing that I admire in people the most is unconscious grace, authenticity, and like, this is also something that people develop. I mean, pretty much any trait you can have to some extent if you work hard enough at it. Like, I'm a pretty good musician, and I had such bad control over my limbs and my fingers when I was a kid. And it's like, every achievement. Every time I play guitar, I'm like, I can't play guitar. I can't believe I'm playing guitar. You know? But despite that, I think what I admire most is just the ability to communicate non-verbally through your presence in a space.
Yeah.
Because I have just enough of a sense of it to know how much of it I lack.
Yeah, well,
See, that's
sad.
a depressing question, Taylor.
It's a good question.
It's a depressing question.
It is hard to answer it without, like, thinking about your weaknesses.
That's true. That's true.
Sometimes it's important.
I wish I was thin. I wish I wasn't as plump as I am.
I wish I hadn't gained so much weight over the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think that it's it's partially New York, but
It's also just that I can't be arsed to cook myself good food for the most part.
yeah, I wish we were less lazy.
No, okay, we have to stop listing things we don't like about ourselves. We need to ask each other another question.
Skullmaster.
Wait, no. Wait, no.
Hey, where were you?
Skullmaster?
Skullmask.
Skullmask.
Skullmask, who's probably Bloodmaster Alpha in a mask.
Who's Bloodmaster Alpha?
Bloodmaster Alpha is the most famous of the voice actors who does Crow Killers.
How did this not come up when you were listing your headcanons?
This isn't my headcanon, that's canon.
But you said probably.
I mean,
It's textual. As
there
well.
were two other. There was another character from this episode that was introduced in the same way called the Murderer, and she turned out to be Bloodmaster Alpha.
The Murderer?
Yes, or the Killer. I can't remember which one. Probably the Murderer.
All right. Do you have another question about this character?
Um.
Here's another picture. Here's the
Yeah,
picture.
yeah. There's the Murderer.
Oh.
That's Bloodmaster Alpha in a mask.
Please don't forget to send me these pictures.
I won't. Okay, yeah, I do have another question about it. Why won't you read Crow Killers? Because if you read Crow Killers, we could engage about it and discuss it.
I guess I feel like I would probably like it.
Yeah, there's a lot of folks I know who I think could get something out of Crow Killers who don't want to, and I think that it's
Isaac's preferred Crow Killers reading music is my favorite music.
Yeah, it's Music Has the Right to Children by Words of Canada, and
Which should be a sign, I suppose, that it might be my aesthetic.
yeah, the best of them are just like can just draw you into a hole. Like it's like me and non-drugs, but in a way that is.
It just seems so personal to you, right? Like
Yeah.
you had a Lisa Simpson thing before Crow Killers.
I did.
in your distant past.
But that doesn't mean that the fact that it was like made for me with a bow on the top,
Right.
Except that it's mostly like if you talk most of the discourse, what there is of it is about like I hope this comic lets trans people find out that they're trans people, right? And people talking to Kate about how the comic helped them come to terms with their gender identity and stuff like that, which is, for better or worse, not really a level on which I can engage with the thing,
Yeah.
So I'm coming at it from what I think is important, and oftentimes as I sit there reading it, appreciating the very specific things about it that I appreciate, and championing it in the very odd way that I champion things, I worry that I'm pulling a Charles Kimboat. It's like I am.
But you're not trying to tell people what it's about.
Well, I am. That's what I do on my blog. I tell people what art is about, right?
Oh, kind
I
of.
mean, it's not like I'm in any like privileged position in terms of like being the only voice that is trying to explain it.
Right.
But-
I feel like with Crow Killers in particular, you maintain an appropriate distance.
Of course. I mean,
With Homestuck, you don't, because that's what you're not supposed to do.
yeah,
But
no,
with
you're
Homestuck-
absolutely not supposed to do it with Homestuck, but I just like it's a weird position. I am a weird position. I like a lot of things where it's inconvenient that I am who I am and that I like them.
Here's an analogy for why I don't read Crow Killers.
Okay.
I used to play fighting games with my brother a lot when we lived in the same house.
Uh-huh.
And the thing with fighting games, of course, is that you pick the character you're going to play.
Sure.
And with several of the fighting games we really liked, my brother and I would migrate from character to character. But the characters that my brother played were always off limits to me. And it wasn't a rule or anything. It was just, that's his character.
Right.
I feel like if I played that character, I would be like intruding upon my brother's space in some kind of uncomfortable way.
Well, we already established that we're not brothers or boyfriends. You remember that?
I know, but
you remember that question?
it just feels like Crow Killers is such an Isaac thing, you know? That I would never be able to have I would never be able to form my own relationship with it.
You'd be drinking the bathwater.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's a problem.
Oh,
What's wrong? Oh dear.
This doesn't look like it should be that sticky. Oh, yes, it does. Okay. Let's just fix it.
It's just a tiny house. You could probably move it. It's just a cube with windows. Your truck is probably mightier than that.
Time for the maneuvers. Let's turn left.
Ooh, did you do it?
I thought I had it. I wish I was close enough to the parking space to just park.
No, this episode's not ending anytime soon, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to hit minute 40.
All right, what else have you got?
Well, I mean, I think that I want to talk more about that because I think Skull Mask has actually brought us around to something that is a fruitful topic, which is.
I feel like I'm in a quagmire here.
Go on. But it's like my opinions about it are.
There we go. Now we're getting somewhere.
You don't read my opinions about it in great detail, do you?
Well, I read them.
Yeah, but it's like there's must be a limit to how much you're absorbing, given that you're not familiar with the source material. Do you think my talk? So has my talking about it actually, you think, closed off your ability to make an authentic? See, that's the thing I'm worried about.
I don't think it's what you've written about. I don't think it's anything you wrote about it. If anything, what you've written about it has made me interested in reading it.
Okay.
It's just that I know, or at least I have a sense of how you're coming at this thing because I know you. And it's that. It's just that. It's to you.
Oh my goodness.
This may be. I might be talking out of my butt here.
No, I don't think so. I think this is really interesting. I think that our Tumblr user Naked Bee will be really interested in this exchange between us. Because I think that we're growing and learning together.
This feels like I have a flat tire at this point. I mean, what's happened is I'm caught on this rectangle. I hate these rectangles. They always get me. They're supposed to make it easier to drive. They don't.
That's not going to work.
Won't it? Oh, what? I feel like I might have to get towed. I'm right here. Wait,
don't get towed.
Maybe we just end the episode in this.
Minute 40. No.
God,
I
can't believe it. The episode is supposed to be over. We're out of materials. I'm drifting.
We're not out of material. I still want to. I mean, the problem is that you can't answer the burning questions that I have about your feeling about my space.
Okay.
And the way that I occupy space, in your life mentally.
Post to me the question. I will do my best to answer it, and my subconscious will solve this problem.
Okay, so the way in which you are making space for me, is that because you want to avoid the feeling of competing with me?
No.
Is it because you want to avoid the feeling of thinking like me?
I really, truly am stuck now.
Yeah, wow. Get towed, bitch.
No, we're done. We're gonna finish the conversation here. This is the finish screen. This is our results.
I think this is indicative of the stalemate that we've arrived at between us.
Why do I feel like it's your space?
Yeah. And why is that a problem?
It's not a problem per se.
Because I know I defend my physical space,
It's more that I couldn't read Crow Killers without it seeming to be a thing about stuff Isaac likes, if you see what I mean. The subject of Crow Killers for me would be your taste for it. And that feels like it would be an unproductive way to read that.
That's true. It would be doing the thing a disservice.
Yeah.
But what would the point of reading it that way be? I mean...
It's not that there's a point, it's just that that's what my brain would do.
You would be trying to be like, okay, well, this is what Isaac likes about this, and this is what Isaac likes about that. What we need is a third party who also likes it, who can then be a sort of...
The wheels are spinning.
But we're not moving. Whoa.
Whoa.
We moved.
Has gravity saved me? Should I go forward or backward? Let's try backward.
I would go backward if it were me.
No, we're no better off.
Gravity did not save.
Okay, what? It's like I'm playing Spin Tires. It's just like I'm playing Spin Tires.
Oh my god. This is a tragedy.
And it's funny too because I like criticism. I like reading people's takes on stuff.
Yeah.
Part of it is just because I'm close to you, right?
Yeah. Physically, right now.
Like part of being roommates is that we just have to kind of give each other our space, and it's not that reading Crow Killers would actually be a violation of your space, but
It falls into the same mental category.
yeah, my brain has tricked me into feeling that way.
That is super interesting. Well, we got to work on our boundaries, Josh, you and I. Because, you know, what if we drive Monica insane accidentally and we don't know?
If the game could evaluate how well I did, what word do you think? What adjective do you think it would choose?
Comical.
Abysmal.
Unedifying.
Disappointing. I mean, we could unload the truck here, right?
Yeah, just...
Is there a hotkey for
just
disconnecting the trailer? Maybe if I could do that, I could salvage the situation.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Okay, we're going to be right back while I investigate that.
Okay. And we're back.
We have two things we can try here. One
Okay.
is lift axle. I'm not actually sure what that means because I don't know anything about trucks, but let's see what it does. It appears to have done nothing. Okay, but the other thing is T. Ha! Okay, now, feel free to oh, I still... It's the problem is that my drive section is...
Don't you have front-wheel drive? Can you
Seemingly-
tackle that?
It's funny because one of my rear wheels and one of my front wheels are both... It's because I'm lodged. That's all it is. I'm just lodged in something.
Yeah, you're doing untold amounts of...
All right,
damage to your
thanks
truck.
for watching, everybody.
I-
To the best trucks yet.
I feel like...
Watching, too. Nice one. Yes? What do you feel like?
I feel like this is...
Oh,
What?
here. Maybe there's an
What?
exploit.
Whoa, hold on.
We
I
should
don't
have
think-
called it a long time ago.
You know, we should, but this is sunk cost right now. We're in for a penny and for a pound. This episode isn't ending until you and I have a personal revelation about our relationship. That's the only way to end this episode. Josh, how do you feel about me?
I like you.
Oh, I like you too, buddy. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. That was fun. Pretty good trucks.